If you've watched any videos on my channel, then you know that The Legend of Dragoon is one of my favorite games. It was the first PS1 RPG I ever played, and I'm waiting very patiently on that remaster. Now I know I'm coping at this point, but let me live my life how I want, okay? To deal with the fact that I'll never see new official Legend of Dragoon content in my lifetime, I watch speedruns of the game to experience it in new and fresh ways. I've covered the history of the any % classic category, showing how runners beat the game in less than 10 hours, and how the community broke into the debug room, skipping straight to the end of the game from Disc 1. However, there's a category called 99% where the fastest run comes in at over 25 hours long, with some ridiculous requirements to finish it. In today's video, we're going to dive into the category and all of the strategies runners use to beat it in record time. But before we talk about how amazing this speedrun is, we need to talk about another amazing game that just got a recent update. 5 iconic assassins from the Assassin's Creed franchise are joining Raid in a brand new collaboration. Ezio Auditore, Edward Kenway, Bayek, Basim, and Cassandra are up for grabs. You can also get Ezio for free by logging into the game for 7 days. I love how accurate the champions feel against the original games. Bayek is my personal favorite, with the gold trim all over his outfit, combined with the realistic wear and tear from the Egyptian sands. You'll need these champions and more to take down the special event dungeon antagonist, Pontiff Augustine, where you can get limited time rewards that will boost your champion's power immensely. Outside of the event, Raid has a ton of content for you to take on. I really enjoy the Grim Forest since there's so much to do with its roguelike progression. I also love fighting the Hydra clan boss since it's a great weekly challenge with excellent rewards. Click the link in the description or use the QR code to support me and download the game. You'll get a huge starter pack with the legendary Corrado Fox Hunter from the Shadowkin faction, and if you reach level 15, you get the incredible epic champ Ugo, who has amazing support skills. Then, when you log in for 7 days, you get a free legendary Ezio from Assassin's Creed. You can also use 1-6 promo codes to get a powerful champion within 48 hours of downloading with my link. I personally recommend getting to Honorok because she's a powerful support champion, and those are hard to come by in the early game. Download Raid and support me by using my link and find me in game under Dr. Swellman. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. Now that I've sold my soul for a bag of cash, what even is a 99% speedrun of Legend of Dragoon? Outside of going through the game and beating the final boss, Melbu Frama, all of the other optional bosses need to be beat. This includes the Dragoons at Velweb, the Dragons at Mayfill, and of course Magician Faust, who is considered to be the hardest boss in the game. Along the way, runners need to find all 50 Stardusts to complete Martel's side quests at the town of Rogue, obtain all 148 pieces of equipment, obtain all goods, which are this game's version of key items, and all 10 repeatable items, ensuring that they're all in the inventory when you beat the game. Finally, all additions need to be at level 99, and every character needs their Dragoon to be level 5. The only thing 99% doesn't do is get all the characters up to max level. This is a spoiler for the end of the run, but given that the highest level character at the end is level 49, it's understandable why runners wouldn't want to go for it. When I break down the run like this, it seems simple enough, but in reality, this category tests your endurance and attention to detail. 99% goes through Legend of Dragoon like a normal any % no major glitches run would, but there are a few detours along the way. Grabbing every Stardust in the game requires going off the beaten path a bit, but for the most part, you can find these in places you'd be passing through anyways. There's 19 of these in Disc 1, with most of them being in Bale and the Black Castle, 16 in Disc 2, 11 in Disc 3, and 4 in Disc 4. You can collect all of these and give them to Martel before reaching the 3 Wingly cities, getting you some really good rewards we'll talk about here in a bit. Before I run the risk of getting too ahead of myself, we need to talk about how runners get through the game so fast. If you've played Legend of Dragoon, you know there's a ton of encounters that can happen on each screen, and these can take minutes to resolve. Thankfully, the game has an item that takes care of that for us. In areas that you can get into an encounter that's not in the overworld, there's a danger indicator that changes as you move from blue to yellow, and finally to red before the game triggers an encounter. To solve for this, you can buy charm potions from most shops, which reset your danger level when used, meaning as long as you have enough of these, You won't get another random encounter unless you want one. In the fights that you do take, multi-items are used to deal massive amounts of damage, more than any other attacks could. These have a damage floor that's based on the user's magic attack stat, but by mashing X, you can increase this up to 268% of that amount. These don't cost a lot of money either, so it's the only choice if you're looking to speed through the game. In a normal playthrough, there are some problems with this strategy. While you save time from not taking fights outside of bosses, you'd notice that you're severely underleveled and underpowered as you progress through the game. Thankfully, runners have solved this issue as well. When you get experience from a fight, it gets divided by the amount of living members in your active party and is given to those specific party members. So if you have Dart, Lavitz, and Shauna in a fight, and only Shauna is alive when you win, she gets all the experience. This is used to power level Shauna for a couple of reasons, one of which is to have Miranda join the party as high level as possible, since her level matches what Shauna has when she leaves the party. Miranda doesn't have any additions, so her physical damage output is complete trash. However, her magic attack stat is the highest out of any party member in the game, and this makes her multi-items insanely powerful. Combine this with a good speed stat, she's taking turns and dealing massive damage to bosses. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps out a ton. It's hit or miss if you'll see these videos out in the wild, so subbing is the best way to get notified the next time I upload something and to get your monthly reminder to drink water. While multi-attack items take down bosses quickly, runners need to make sure they're using their additions to offset the hellish grind that happens in Chapter 4. Before you reach the hidden Wingly City of Ulara, you have to navigate the fittingly named Death Frontier. Now this place isn't all that special, except for this section right here. This maze area requires you to go through rooms in the correct way to get to the end, and you have to do it fast since you're constantly being chased by enemies. If you get hit by one of them, it instantly starts an encounter, and that's why this is the best spot in the game to grind additions. If you stand in the upper left hand corner of this room, you almost instantly get into another encounter after the previous one. Runners throw on some weak offensive equipment to stay in the battle as long as they can, but outside of that, it's all about getting every addition to level 99 and Dragoons to level 5. Additions are part of the interactive attack system that times button presses to continue a combo. Completing this combo counts as a successful addition, and there's multiple variations that each character has to work through. Not only can this get tiring over the course of several hours, throwing enemy counters into the mix where you have to switch up your inputs makes things even more annoying. Runners solve this by having absolutely no shame and equipping an ultimate war god to their active party members. This automatically completes the additions and counts towards the addition levels. 2 of these are obtainable in the game, one from the Ghost Ship chest minigame, and one for 10,000 gold in Lohan. Now this grind is actually split into 2 parts, since the run gets Kongol's Dragoon Spirit after the first visit. Dragoon levels are earned by SP, and Kongol doesn't earn anything towards his Dragoon levels until after getting the Dragoon, so an early grind for him makes no sense. The route actually gets his Dragoon Spirit from the shop in Lohan after completing Aglis and Xenobados. The SP grind is also no joke, since you need 20,000 SP to get a single character to Dragoon level 5. This is mostly accomplished during the addition grind, but because Kongol has his own grind and Miranda doesn't have additions, runners have to get creative with these 2 characters. After giving 30 Stardust to Martel, she gives you the War God Sash, giving you a 50% boost to SP gains when equipped. For Miranda, not only is the War God Sash important, but using Spirit Potions to give a free 100 SP in combat is huge. She only gets 50 SP from a regular attack, so runners will take any advantage they can get. The 2 grinds combined make up almost half of the run, and then the world record by Black Death Doom, it takes around 12 hours and 38 minutes to finish up. With the grind out of the way, the party is about ready to take on some of the game's optional bosses. The optional bosses in the run include Kamui in Evergreen Forest, Ultra Armor in the Snow Field, the Dragoon fights with Suvale, Damia, Belzak, and Kansas in Velweb, Magician Faust at the Land of Taboo, and finally the Dragon refights against Fairbrand, Regal, and the Divine Dragon in Mayfill. You only get access to Magician Faust after getting all 50 Stardust and obtaining the Vanishing Stone from Martel. Like I mentioned earlier, he's known as the most powerful boss in the game due to his speed and high damage magic attacks, but he's beaten to a pulp thanks to Hashel's Omni Sweep and a mix of stat increasing and decreasing items being used. Equipment such as the Legend Cast helps here as well, giving you an additional 127 magic defense and 50% magic evasion, completely trivializing this boss and any others that prioritize magic. Back to the topic of repeatable items, these are grabbed throughout the run, and even though they're part of the 99% requirement, they're extremely useful in any Legend of Dragoon speedrun. Items like Speed Up and Speed Down are essential for getting more turns in boss fights, while Power Up and Power Down help increase damage while ensuring survivability. There's other repeatable items, like the Magic Signet Stone, which is good for the Death Frontier grind, and the 00 parts gold grind, freezing enemies for 3 turns when used. None of these, including many other items, are considered missable, but there are a few goods that can be missed. So if you don't get them while you're at that point in the game's story, you won't be able to go back for that item. Lavitz's portrait is the first one of these, which you get from a girl painting in the city of Bale. This one is missable for obvious reasons if you played through the game. I'm literally pouring one out for my boy Lavitz right now. It's been like 25 years, but I'm still mad at Lloyd to this day. Anyways, the next item in Donau the Flower City, after the Garrick and Mappy fight, there's Kate's Bouquet and Flynn's Letter, which are also missable goods. The last thing runners need to check off their lists before beating the game is having every piece of equipment in the inventory. But if you want one of everything, you need a ton of gold to make that happen. This is mostly accomplished through selling duplicate items and equipment, along with the huge grind near the end of the game. The gold route is mostly straightforward, but there are opportunities to save time if runners get lucky drops. The Divine Dragon can drop a Dragon Shield, saving 5,000 gold over having to buy it later. Any gold that isn't earned by the end of the addition grinds has to be made up with the 00 parts encounters, which isn't a fun time. The cleanup after this involves buying the rest of the gear that wasn't dropped or picked up from chests, with runners visiting many of the world's shops before heading into the last part of the game. Before fighting the final bosses, runners have to show their full inventory and additions as proof they got everything, which can be nerve-wracking since it's so easy to miss something. After confirming we have everything except everyone's favorite character back in the party, all that's left is to face Melbu Frama, and while the strats are what you'd expect when it comes to damage, runners do something special during phase 2 of the fight. The Melbu fight is a long one with 4 phases you have to get through. Each phase transition happens after Melbu hits a certain HP threshold, which includes an unskippable cutscene, wasting a lot of time. In phase 2, Melbu has an ability that will remove a character from battle temporarily, trapping them in his body. After a certain number of turns, he'll shoot the character at a party member, dealing damage, but returning them to the fight. This is important because Melbu will not change phases while he has a party member, and even better, each phase shares the same overall HP pool, meaning if you timed it right, you could skip phase 3 and 4 of the fight. By transforming Dart into his Dragoon form and having no one else as a Dragoon, he'll be targeted for Melbu's removal. Once Dart is removed, then runners will use their buffs and debuffs to get as many turns as possible before Dart is shot out. Then it's up to Hashel and Miranda to dish out all the damage they can before this happens. If even one thing goes wrong, the skip may not work, resulting in a ton of time loss. BDD's run came in close, as Dart was shot out just 2 turns before ending the fight. When attacked in phase 2, Melbu has a chance to counterattack, and in this case, would also trigger the phase switch. Luckily, BDD got those 2 turns and wasn't counterattacked, and it let him finish the run. There are only 2 completed runs of this category, one by UmiHime with a time of 27 hours, 24 minutes, and 22 seconds, and the current world record by Black Death Doom with a time of 25 hours, 1 minute, and 42 seconds. If you all enjoyed learning about this run, sub to my channel and drop a like if you want to see more videos like these. It's free and it really helps me out. Also, I've linked both 99% runs in the description so you all can watch them when you have some free time. Stay hydrated, folks, and thank you all so much for watching.